Hello guys, welcome back to my channel once again here on YouTube. Thank you for joining me today for this WWE 2003 pay-per-view collection. 2003 was an interesting year, I thought. We had Lesnar achieving so much success in his rookie year. The debut of Goldberg. Raw and SmackDown getting their own pay-per-views respectively. Triple H with a lengthy world title run. Kane's unmasking, Undertaker laying the American badass biker gimmick to rest, and the last time Stone Cold Steve Austin would wrestle a match, plus other exciting things happening that year. So we kick things off with Royal Rumble. And so we had Big Show against Brock Lesnar. The winner would get a advance to the Royal Rumble match. Triple H versus Scott Steiner in a very poor match from what I remember of it, unfortunately. Would have been good to see Scott Steiner with a good healthy World Heavyweight Championship run in WWE, but that wasn't to be. Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit in a really good WWE Championship match. Then we had the Royal Rumble match itself as well. Sorry if I skipped a few matches there, guys. You can read them anyway if you wanted to pause it. Just don't want to make the video too long. So the Royal Rumble match for all those participants in from Raw and SmackDown. The winner obviously was Brock Lesnar. It was still in his rookie year. From Boston, Massachusetts, January 19th, this pay-per-view, guys. Sorry, I forgot to say that. But yeah, so that's how we kicked off 2003. So in February we had No Way Out, Triple H versus Scott Steiner 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Eric Bischoff, and the rematch The Rock versus Hulk Hogan 2, the rematch from WrestleMania 18 from the previous year. Sorry, I forgot to show you the disc as well. There's No Way Out, so I'll show you Royal Rumbles quickly. It's pretty much the same as the front cover, but the disc for No Way Out isn't. Just in case there's a few of you fans out there that are interested in what the disc art looks like as well. It's always interesting to see, isn't it? So let's put that one down there for a second. And quite a lot of extras on that one too. Get rid of that glare. Sorry about that. Yeah, so obviously the matches are red on the front. Plus we had Undertaker against Big Show. Yeah, I was going to say another disappointing match with that Scott Steiner Triple H. It really was. So unfortunate. So this is like Evolution evolving as well this year. Evolving a bit more. So we had also Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit and Edge versus Kurt Angle, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas in a 6-man tag match. Cruiserweight Championship match there with Kidman and Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy versus Chris Jericho. Cool. Oh yeah, and Kane and RVD as a tag team. Going for the tag team championships this year. Leading up to their breakup and everything, unfortunately, when Kane had to unmask. Next up, WrestleMania 19. From March 30th. Hogan and the boss Vince McMahon, not the boss Sasha Banks, looking eye to eye, nose to nose, getting ready for their match on this the only 2-disc set of this year in pay-per-view. That is, sorry guys. And then the spine's obviously going to match it up to make 2003 eventually. Yeah, the bonus disc had the Road to WrestleMania, WrestleMania weekend, post-match interviews, WrestleMania Retro, when 10 superstars revealed their favourite Mania moments, Hogan versus McMahon 20 years in the making, promotional spots, Goldberg's WWE debut on the Raw after this WrestleMania, and more. This is a good little set to own, this. And then you got the WWE Championship match, Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. I remember Brock Lesnar doing that kind of moonsault and nearly breaking his neck in the process. I think Kurt Angle almost injured himself in this match, or he did injure himself. I apologise, I just can't remember now. But something like that happened, I remember. But it wasn't that memorable that I wouldn't remember to tell you about it, guys. So I apologise for that. Street Fight, Hulk Hogan versus Mr. McMahon. I did like that match. I really did. And then obviously Hulk Hogan would eventually go on to be Mr. America in that really bad storyline, but we won't go into that one. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. That was a really good match. It was their third meeting at WrestleMania. And this will be Stone Cold Steve Austin's last time he ever wrestled in the ring, unfortunately. We miss you, Rattlesnake. We really do. We had the World Heavyweight Championship match, Triple H versus Booker T. Don't want to really go into that one too much. It's just, I've had opinions on that before. I really felt for Booker T having to go through this stupid storyline with Triple H. Made him look worthless and, you know. Moving on. Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho. Good match. And we've got a few tag matches there. Sorry, one tag match there, triple threat one. Women's triple threat match as well. Undertaker and Nathan Jones against Big Show and A-Train was more like a handicap match because Nathan Jones didn't even wrestle. He basically tried joining in at the end of the match when Undertaker took care of Big Show and A-Train all by himself. We had Rey Mysterio versus Matt Hardy for that Cruiserweight Championship as well. All in all, that wasn't a bad WrestleMania. I do like that one. Moving on to April, we had what I would consider back then a dream match for all wrestling fans or all WCW fans. The Rock versus Goldberg. And the spine there, disc. Only one disc, as I said, that was only 2 disc set, the WrestleMania. This is, yeah, there's the disc. Same as the cover art again. So yeah, The Rock versus Goldberg. Not many people liked the match, but I think it was okay. It wasn't too bad. But this wasn't the Goldberg everyone wanted that was in WCW. This was the way Vince and WWE wanted it, and he wasn't like how he was in WCW. I can't really explain it. Not until he made his return in 2016. He was more like the old Goldberg from WCW then. That's who he should have been here in this first run in WWE. But I think that's probably where it all went wrong with Goldberg on this first run. We had WWE Championship match, Brock Lesnar against John Cena. It's not the John Cena we would go on to eventually know. It's just in his first year or two there in WWE, I think. But it was his rapping word life gimmick. That 6-man tag match there as well. Team Angle versus Los Guerreros for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Rob Van Dam and Kane against the Dudley Boys for the World Tag Team Championship. Trish Stratus against Jazz for the Women's Championship. Rikishi versus Sean O'Haire with Roddy Piper. I remember when Roddy Piper and Sean O'Haire aligned themselves with each other on SmackDown. That was quite interesting. It's a shame the Devil's Advocate gimmick that Sean O'Haire was trying to portray didn't take off as well as it did. Yes, it is a shame. I did like Sean O'Haire. Rey Mysterio versus Big Show. Definitely fair. David versus Goliath match. Move on to May next. So we have Judgment Day. There's the front cover for that. The spine. Disc art different again. So that's a Test holding up the Intercontinental Championship there, and a bit of maybe a spoiler. I can't remember now. Trish Stratus there as well. shitload of extras on this one, look, guys. And then the matches were a stretcher match for the WWE Championship, Brock Lesnar versus Big Show. Can't work out if I liked that one or not. It was a bit hit and miss, I guess. A 4-way women's championship match. Triple H with Ric Flair versus Kevin Nash with Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight Championship. Here we go, Hulk Hogan now. Mr. America versus Rowdy Roddy Piper with Sean O'Haire. Mr. America. What a stupid gimmick that was. A bikini challenge match. Tori Wilson versus Sable. We had a ladder match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. I remember enjoying that one. So there was Team Angle versus Eddie Guerrero and Tajiri. Scott Steiner and Test versus La Resistance. And then we had Chris Benoit, Rhino, and Spanky. Spanky was Brian Kendrick, whatever you want to call him, against FBI and John Cena. Oh yes, and this was the first time this was a SmackDown only pay-per-view. I think was there any Raw? No, it wasn't. Sorry, because there was a Raw match on that one. They haven't done that yet. Sorry, ignore me, guys. I am so sorry about that. Next up, we had. I'll get rid of the fucking glare. Next up, we had Insurrection 2003. I know this is Great American Bash. Ignore that, but it's in this set. As I said in the 2002 collection, I do it to save shelf space, so I think this is a good idea to have it in with this one as well. And it would look awkward in with this set anyway, because you'd have to put it here, and then you wouldn't be able to read the whole 2003 properly with a stupid Insurrection DVD in the middle. Yeah, there's the disc for it. It was the matches on there I'll quickly go over. I'm not going to put that in there, actually, that's just dumb. So, Maven versus Christian Eckstein. Hurricane versus Lance Storm, Jazz versus Trish Stratus for the world title, Christian versus Booker T for the Intercontinental Championship, Kane and Rob Van Dam versus La Resistance for the Tag Team Championship, Goldust versus Rico, the Dudley Boys versus Rodney Mack, Christopher Nowinski and Teddy Long in a 6-man tag match. Dudley Boys having Spike Dudley in with that, in case you were wondering, guys, included. Scott Steiner versus Test, Kevin Nash versus Triple H in a street fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. So this was kind of a Raw only pay-per-view, but then they done a SmackDown only Rebellion, didn't they, in 2002? So that's that one. Then we went on to a week or so later, it's still in June, Bad Blood 2003, featuring Kevin Nash against Triple H in a Hell in a Cell match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I'm sure this is a Raw. Yes, this is a Raw one, because look, Austin and Bischoff present Bad Blood instead. WWE Raw presents Bad Blood. Disc. And there's a lot to a lot of extras there to cover, which is good. Like I said before in my previous video, the 2002 one, that I really do love my extras. I'm sure there's a lot of you fans out there that love extras as well on your discs. A lot of you collectors out there love all that. Just makes it more valuable and more, gives it more something, get more for your money kind of thing. So we had, Triple H versus Kevin Nash in a Hell in a Cell for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was quite a brutal match, and we had Mick Foley as the guest referee. A redneck triathlon, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Eric Bischoff. Quite entertaining if you like that sort of thing. Putting Eric Bischoff through all those challenges. I think it was on the spin the wheel or something. Yeah, there's a wheel there, look. So yeah, it must have been. Goldberg versus Chris Jericho. There's a strange backstory behind that. Basically, Jericho thought Goldberg treated him like shit in WCW, so he tried making his feelings clear with the powers that be backstage in WWE. And he got this match, and They had an argument backstage. I don't know whether it was on this night or on a different night on Raw maybe. And Chris Jericho managed to get the better of Goldberg in a proper, real life fight. Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. Yep. Rob Van Dam and Kane versus La Resistance. I think this might be the last time we see Kane on pay-per-view with his mask. I could be wrong though. So I thought it was a few weeks after this he may have lost it. I do apologise now if that's the case. Yeah, the World Tag Team Championships of Raw were on the line there. Obviously, because it's a Raw pay-per-view. Getting confused again. Confusing myself. Christian versus Booker T for the Intercontinental Championship. Of course, the Intercontinental Championship was retired when Kane and Triple H met at No Mercy 2002. And then it got reintroduced on Raw in about May, I think it was, of this year. Winner gets Stacy Keibler's managerial services, Scott Steiner versus Test. And then we had the Dudley Boys versus Rodney Mack and Christopher Nowinski. And I read the whole match card back to front from main event to opening match. This one from July next is a SmackDown Presents. It's definitely SmackDown. I can read it there. It definitely says SmackDown. So this is a SmackDown pay-per-view, guys. Vengeance 2003. American Badass Undertaker on the front and on the disc. Not sure about the extras on this one. I don't even think it's got any. I remember I had to order when I first had this. I had to order it back in when it was released in 2003 from Silvervision because Woolworths, where I got it from here in the UK, didn't stock this for some reason. But yeah, enough about that. Let's get on with this. So we had Zach Gowen against Mr. McMahon in an entertaining match, I thought. A triple threat match for the WWE Championship. I didn't really like that one from what I remember of it. I thought it was quite shit. Brock Lesnar, Big Show and Kurt Angle. Undertaker versus John Cena. And of course still John Cena on the rise to stardom at this point. Finals of the US Championship Tournament. Chris Benoit versus Eddie Guerrero. Good stuff. Stephanie McMahon versus Sable. Oh God. Let's not go there. A WWE Tag Team Championship match. The world's greatest tag team versus Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio. The APA Invitational. I did enjoy that one. That was like a bar built at not at ringside. Sorry, it's built near the ramp, the entrance ramp, and it was just like a bar fight, but in the arena. If that makes sense, with various participants like Sean O'Hare. Can't remember who else was in it. Maybe Doink the Clown was in it. I could be wrong though, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen that and you remember who was in it, because I've completely lost track of that one now. But I do remember watching it and liking it. Indecent Proposal match, Billy Gunn versus Jamie Noble. And that's that one. August now. SummerSlam 2003. I think the cover art's been adjusted a little bit, and on the disc as well. Not to sound rude, I'm sure it's meant to have a bit of underboob there as well around the logo, but still, it is what it is. We don't care, or do we? It's Sable. And so we have the Elimination Chamber making a return for the first time since Survivor Series 2002. Triple H putting his World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, Goldberg, Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash are the 5 challengers. It was, I didn't like that one. I was going to say it was a good match. It wasn't. I didn't like that one. I remember why now. But that's my own thoughts and opinions on that. It's just the way Goldberg was treated, that was all. WWE Championship match, Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. Rob Van Dam versus Kane, and yes, this is around the time then he'd obviously lost his mask now, turned on his partner, and became more unstoppable, if you see what I mean, guys. More of a indestructible killer, Monster Hill kind of thing at this time when he lost his mask. Was it good he lost his mask, guys? I don't think so. I wanted him to keep it. It kept the mystique, didn't it? the mystery and everything else. Yeah, I think he should have kept his mask. I wasn't sure if I liked it when the mouthpiece was removed from it, and all that time he started talking, because it was just really good when he first showed up, and just looked scary and like a monster. That's the idea. But yeah, let me know in the comments below about that, guys, if you think Kane should have kept his mask or not. Anyway, Undertaker versus A-Train, Shane McMahon versus Eric Bischoff, La Resistance against Dudley Boyz for the Raw WWE World Tag Team Championship, and then we had a four-way for the US Championship with Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Rhino, Tajiri. September now. Unforgiven. There's Kane. Face Your Fear on the front cover there. And again on the disc artwork. So Triple H versus Goldberg. If Goldberg loses, he leaves WWE. Triple H can lose the title by DQ or count out. So why does Goldberg need all these... What's the right term I should use for this? Was it handicap or all these disadvantages? I don't know. Or advantages, if you want to. It just makes him look shit. And the whole Goldberg in WWE on his first run was very bad, I thought. It was good to see him, obviously, but after his fight with The Rock, it all went downhill for him, I think. Shane McMahon versus Kane in a last man standing match. Shawn Michaels versus Randy Orton in a legend versus legend killer match. Christian versus Chris Jericho versus Rob Van Dam in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. JR and the King, the winners broadcast Raw match against Coach Jonathan Coachman and Al Snow. 6-man table match there of Dudley Boyz and Spike Dudley this time. They didn't class him as a Dudley boy this time then, even though he's meant to be one of their brothers. Against La Resistance and Rob Conway. And I thought Rob Conway was a member of La Resistance, or was this just before he was a member? Confusing stuff, isn't it? Scott Steiner versus Test. If Test wins, he gets Stacy and Steiner's services. If Steiner wins, he gets Stacy back. See, these storylines were good, but confusing, some of them. But it's good to have storylines in wrestling, I think. Sorry, and then there's a Lita and Trish Stratus against Molly Holly and Gail Kim match as well. Let me know in the comments below if we should bring back storylines. Decent ones, that is. I think we should in wrestling. I do miss them. It's what made the Attitude Era so great, I think. No Mercy, I reviewed this recently. It's a SmackDown Presents one, as you can see. Disc art, not the same as the cover art. I won't go over this one too much because, as I said, because of the review I've done. Here's the match listing. They had that biker chain, first ever biker chain match for the WWE Championship between Undertaker and Brock Lesnar there. Yeah, and if you want to know more of my thoughts on it, go check out my review, guys. I'd appreciate that. November, near enough at the end of the year and the end of the video now. Survivor Series 2003, A Fall from Grace, Shane McMahon on the cover there. Any fans of Shane McMahon watching this, comment below please. Be interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on the guy. Goldberg versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. Yep, again. A Buried Alive match, Undertaker versus Mr. McMahon. I remember how that one ends. I did mention earlier in the video. So get rid of the biker gimmick. American Badass gimmick. Was it a good idea to get rid of that? Did anyone else like that? Again, let me know in the comments below. The Final Encounter ambulance match, Shane McMahon versus Kane. I did like that one. That was fun. And I do always like these classic Survivor Series matches. These elimination style matches. They're good. I'm not going to go over all those names. I'll let you guys read them because it's just going to make the video even longer. And 30 minutes of extras as well, apparently. And then we wrapped up the year with Armageddon, 2003, Evolution of the Game. And there's the disc. So this one had a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Kane versus Goldberg versus Triple H. Goldberg and Triple H in yet another main event on a pay-per-view of the same year. Shawn Michaels versus Batista. Rob Van Dam versus Randy Orton with special guest referee Mick Foley for the Intercontinental Championship. Booker T versus Mark Henry. Yeah, various other matches there. Just was reading the extras then. The return of Mick Foley on Raw. And The Rock returns. That was quite fun to watch that extra from what I remember of it. Funny stuff. Yeah, and that wraps up 2003 then, guys. Please let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed that. Feel free to like. I'd like that. And subscribe if you haven't done so already, because I've noticed there's a lot of people watching these videos who haven't subscribed. It means a lot if you could subscribe, guys. Thank you. And thank you for joining me. Stay safe and take good care of yourselves. I'll see you again next time. Peace.